Okay, the time has come. We got some exciting news this week. This channel has been in my brain. I'm not recording on the microphone, so we got to start with that. Bam! And there's that. And now I see why they do one of these. Okay, so exciting start to the week. This channel has been a brainchild of mine ever since I reserved my F150 Lightning back in May of last year. And so I kept toying with, when to upload the first video, but this feels like the first concrete step towards getting a Lightning. We got our email a few days ago about converting our reservation into an actual order, so I felt like that was a fitting time to start this journey with you guys towards getting a Lightning. So just a brief history. Like I said, I reserved my Lightning on May 28th of last year. And ever since then, it's all been question marks, and everything's been shrouded in mystery, like when will build and price go live, and what's going to get delayed, and when will they start really being delivered. And so I think we're starting to finally get some answers. January specifically has been an exciting 9 days so far with build and price going live. That definitely cleared up a lot of uncertainty in regards to what features were going to be available on each trim level. But I still think there's a lot of questions that need answered, like when I go and have my meeting this week with my local Ford dealer, what features maybe can we add on? I'm specifically interested in the Pro trim level, as I would think a lot of people are, especially now that we're seeing what features you can get added on to an XLT and at what cost. So that's where I'd like to start with, this meeting that I'm going into this week. I'm not going to name my local Ford dealer, but thus far, like back in November, I called and I said, what information do you have? And their quote was, Ford has given us nothing, which was not very reassuring to hear. But then, like I said, January, build and price has gone live and they're inviting people in to convert their reservations. So I was watching one of Larry Lynch's videos. He's the one that warned everybody to be on the lookout for emails, and sure enough, I had one. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that I'm going to get in there this week and he's going to give me a delivery date for my Lightning that's anytime in the near future. I think the reality is it's still going to be a while. Like I said, I reserved May 28th, which was well after they announced the F150 Lightning. So I don't think I'm very high up, but then when you start thinking about dealer allotments, you never know where you're going to fall and if that might bump you up earlier in the process. So now that ramble's out of the way, just wanted to just dive in. And I'm going to talk through some features that I'm going to ask about when I sit down to have my meeting, and I would hope that having heard it from the horse's mouth once I talk to my local Ford dealer, that'll provide some clarity on what you can and cannot add on, specifically to that Pro trim level, because you can see I've got it pulled up back here. It's probably blurry for you, but maybe I'll superimpose an image. But I mean, the Pro trim level, as we all have learned in this past few days, not a lot you can customize, truthfully. It's really, there's like a $2,000 tow package that comes with a 360-degree camera. You can pick what color you want your Lightning to be, and that's about it. So, luckily, it would seem like we've definitely figured out that every Lightning is at least going to have that 12-inch touchscreen, so I'm really excited about that. But okay, so I'm just going to hash out this list of features that I'm going to ask him about, kind of give you my guess as to whether or not it's something that we're going to be able to add on, and then we'll talk more about that after. So, heated front seats. My current car has heated front seats. It's something I've really fallen in love with, especially living in Ohio. There's those 4 months out of the year where they can really come in handy. Realistically, I know for a fact that's not something that we can add on to the Pro trim level. Now a cloth seat upgrade, because it's looking like the Pro trim level is going to come with vinyl seats. Let's see. Yeah, there's that interior. Again, I'll put an image on the screen, but I feel like that's not difficult to do. It's just they're manual seats, so you'd think it would just be plopping a different seat in there, but something that might, even if he says, yes, we'll do a cloth seat upgrade for you, it's going to add time to the delivery of your order, so you have to ask yourself if it's really worth it. This interior still looks pretty premium for a $40,000 car. I mean, it's basic, but then you've got all the tech on that front console, so I think if he says you can't do a cloth seat upgrade, I'm going to continue with my reservation. I'm not going to cancel it just over that. Let's see, so cloth seats, heated front seats, I'm not holding my breath on either of those. It looks like every Lightning, including the Pro trim level, is going to come with steering wheel controls. I tried to zoom in on the photo and see what controls you're getting there. Probably just your standard, how you interact with your digital gauge cluster, but then hopefully maybe like volume adjustment for your audio and answer calls, hang up phone calls via Bluetooth, stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure that's standard, so I'm going to put a check mark next to that one because I'm pretty optimistic. Wireless Android Auto, I think they reserve that for Lariat and Platinum trim, so it's something I'm going to ask about. Probably not something that we can add onto the Pro trim level, but we'll get an update later this week. Android Auto though, like wired Android Auto, I'm almost certain that all the Lightning Pro, all of the Lightning trims do come with that. And I can't wait to see how it looks on a 12-inch touchscreen. My current car has a 7-inch touchscreen, but it doesn't have Android Auto, so it's going to be a huge upgrade for me, even if it is wired. So eager to hear what he has to say about that as well. So the under rear seat storage. So I think that's an option on the XLT. They don't list it as an option for the Pro. Again, it seems like something pretty straightforward. It's just an extra part they could throw in, but you have to ask yourself, is that going to delay the delivery of your truck even if they let you do it? I would also have to imagine that's the type of thing that you could buy third-party aftermarket once you've already taken delivery of your Lightning. So probably not worth heckling over when you sit down to convert your reservation to an order. So I'm going to put a question mark there. I'm not holding my breath for that one either. Bed lighting and zone lighting. So again, I think this is something they reserve just for that XLT and above. I think there's a package for the XLT that'll give you LED bed lighting and zone lighting. So something I'm going to ask about. He'll shoot me down, but at least we will know for certain that it's not something you can add on. This one surprised me. So the flat, they just call it the interior work surface, where the console flips open, your gear selector flattens down, and you can like put your laptop or some papers or some food there. You'd think for a work truck they would be putting that in, and you can see from these renders, you know, it has fine print saying that there's no guarantees that the renders are accurate, but the gear selector flattens out even on this Pro trim. And so what is the point of the gear selector going flat if the interior work surface isn't in that particular truck? Maybe they just didn't want to bother making it different between the 4 trims. So I'm going to ask about it. Again, you'd almost think it would be possible for an additional charge, but again, this is not a deal breaker for me, just something I'm going to ask about. So we'll see. I'm going to put a question mark there too. Okay, so getting into the home charging solutions, the Ford Charge Station Pro, so I believe I saw on their website that does come standard with the extended range battery, which you and I both know you can't add to the Pro trim level. So gonna ask if we could still add that on for an additional cost and roll it into the financing, just because it does charge a lot faster than the one that comes with the truck. And you also have to have the Ford Charge Station Pro for the power backup to your house, which is a feature that's really cool, but not something that I'm looking forward to using. So I'm gonna ask how that works, if you can upgrade or if it exclusively comes with the extended range battery. We'll see what he has to say. You'd have to think if you're willing to pay more money for it, they would give it to you. They'd ship it to you, ship it to your house, maybe even after delivery. I don't know. So we'll see. I'm going to put a question mark there as well. So we know that the Pro trim comes with 2.4 kilowatt Pro power on board versus the available. I think there's other increments all the way up to 9.6 kilowatt. Gonna ask, so that actually I do believe that is on the build and price for the Pro. It says Bliss 2.4. Yeah, so that is an upgrade that we actually already know that we can put on the Pro. I don't know if I'm gonna spring an extra $1,000 for it, because they've got some pretty cool charts that I found online about what you can accomplish with just the 2.4 kilowatt. Like you could power a TV and a circular saw all simultaneously, and that's still under the threshold. So something I'm going to ask about, but I don't think it's something I'm going to end up putting on my particular build. Okay, keyless entry. I have absolutely no clue what he's going to say about this. I think that's the type of luxury feature that they're saving for like XLT and Lariat trims. But for how much tech is crammed into this truck, I'd be astounded if they make you pull out a key and turn it in the door. But more specifically, like proximity unlock, where you can just walk up to your vehicle and it unlocks without you taking the key out of your pocket. I'm not so optimistic for our Pro trim level on that one, so I'm going to ask for some clarification. They show that the keypad entry is like an optional upgrade on a couple upper trims, so maybe that'll be where he compromises and says like that could be added on, but again, we'll talk later about the pros and cons of adding on all these extra features. Remote start. I actually have no idea if this would even be worth it, because remote start, the point is to warm up the cabin and the engine in cold climates, and so you don't have an engine to warm up in the Lightning, but it would still be nice to walk up to your vehicle in the winter and know that the interior has warmed up. I'm almost certain this will not be available on the Pro trim level, but worth asking. I think it all really hinges on that Ford Pass Connect app. I trolled through the website and I couldn't get a clear answer on if that's available for an additional charge on all trims or just the higher trims, so we'll see. Power windows, it looks like come standard, thank goodness, because that would be ridiculous on a $40,000 car. I'm looking at you, Jeep Gladiator. Different wheels. This one I'm not even going to bring up. Honestly, I'm scratching it off right now because you can get different wheels and tires aftermarket, and if there's a risk of delaying your delivery just for some different wheels and tires, I don't know if it would be worth it, so I'm going to scratch that one off. The sliding rear window. Perfect example of something that I'm pretty confident he's not going to offer as a customization on the Pro trim level. I know it's available on higher trims, but it's not available on the build and price site for the Pro trim, so I don't think that's something that will be possible, but worth asking just in case. Not a deal breaker. And then, so we know the tow technology package, it's about $2,000. It comes with a lot of cool features, including that 360-degree camera, but I mean, the truck is already pretty expensive. I mean, it's a great deal for an electric pickup, but you know, people don't have $40,000 lying around, so at least I don't. So $1,948. I don't know if it's worth the 360 camera, but I'm just going to ask. Make sure that it is available, even though Build and Price seems to have confirmed that. The tailgate step and work surface. Definitely going to ask about that. We know you can add it onto the Pro model, but really this is where we get into my next segment, if you will, which is, we learned this with the Bronco, the Ford Bronco. When you place your reservation, the more customizations, the more extra little pieces that you're adding on, whether that be a hard top in the case of the Bronco, or here like a tailgate lock and the tailgate step. Based on the other YouTube research I've done from like Town and Country TV, that's another great YouTube channel to follow for Lightning content, it sounds like every upgrade that you add to your Lightning is going to delay how quickly it gets delivered, because the faster they can just shoot it down the line and get it out for delivery, the faster it reaches your driveway. At least that's the gist I've gotten from all the YouTube videos I've watched. So you have to go back through all these features and ask yourself, is it worth delaying the delivery of my Lightning? So I have a separate column there for my notes that I'm going to talk to the dealer about. I'm going to go down the line with him and say, is this something that's going to significantly delay? I'm almost certain that his answer is going to be, I don't know. There's no way to know what we're going to run short of or what's going to be a popular feature at this stage. And for that reason, I'm tempted to just keep the cost of the vehicle low and not add any of this extra stuff on, because I would hate to have my delivery delayed even further. You know, we're already waiting from May 28th of 2021, well over a year. So that's something that I'd like to ask him about. I'm also going to talk to him about dealer markups. You know, Ford just released that statement discouraging Ford dealers from marking up their Lightning prices. So just going to ask him about that, if they have any weird fees that they plan on implementing around delivery time. I'm also interested to talk to him about financing. Like, I don't know what percent of car buyers finance versus buying outright. I know that I'll be financing my Lightning. So my question would be, how far into this process do we get before we hammer out the brass tacks of what my monthly payment's going to be and what interest rate we're going to lock in? Because I ran into that when I had reserved my Bronco. You know, they started wanting that $1,000 deposit and getting pretty far into the process before one had hit the streets and before you had the opportunity to test drive one. So I'm going to ask him about that. Like, when do we sit down and hammer out the financing? Because I would hate to get too far into this process and then have him say, this is what your monthly payment's going to be, this is the interest rate we can approve you for, and then I have to pump the brakes and say, well, no, that's not going to work for me, and they theoretically are already building the car and are going to deliver it. So I really hope that's not the situation we find ourselves in, but something I'm going to ask about this week. I'm also going to ask him specifically, how many EVs has Ford sold to date? Because that $7,500 tax credit is going to be gone before we know it. I thought that Ford had a ton of EV sales yet to go before they hit that 200,000 mark and they start phasing out the federal EV tax credit. They've already sold 149,000 according to the IRS's website, so that's only 50,000 remaining EV sales where you're going to get the full $7,500 tax credit. But they're also going to continue selling Mach-E's, and so that's going to eat into that 50,000 as well. So I'm going to ask him, like, how does that affect me? When are we going to lock in? I would imagine, I mean, obviously your purchase date is when you sign the paper, take delivery, and start making payments on the vehicle, but what a bummer if you have to wait a whole another year from now. And by then, you know, you're not getting $7,500 tax credit. You're only getting $3,670 or whatever that half amount is, or even further out. Now you're down to 1,000 something. So I'd love to get a little clarification from him on that and how that works, or maybe if it has to do with your reservation number. We'll see. Let's see. I guess that's it. So I know this has been a long-winded video, but if you're like me, I know that every day I just get on YouTube and absolutely scour the internet for Lightning content, specifically about the Pro trim level, because it seems like Ford likes to parade around the Lightning trim, the Platinum trim, but for everyday folks like you and me that can't afford that, just know that this channel is going to be focused on the Pro trim level, the affordable F150 Lightning. So, okay, apparently my camera died at the end of filming my video, but I just wanted to come back and sign off and say, hopefully, thanks for sticking with me for the duration of this long video. Again, I'm really excited to get the ball rolling with this channel, focused on F150 Lightning Pro trim level content. So if you enjoyed the video, if you learned something, if you are eager to be part of this community like I am, subscribe, like. You can tell I don't know what I'm doing here, but thanks for watching, and I've got some really cool ideas for more videos this coming week. Obviously there's going to be a follow-up video after the meeting with my local Cincinnati area Ford dealer, so subscribe, that way you can watch that and get all these answers that we're eager to hear. So thanks again for tuning in. My name's Joe, and yeah, that's it, I guess.